Hello, good morning and welcome to Appreciating Drama. So, we had been seeing the new trends in theatre, which were actually called as avant-garde or experimental theatre. So, we are going to see a different trend today, which is actually included in avant-garde, and don't be shocked to hear the sound or the name of that theatre. It is called Theatre of Cruelty. So, let us see how cruel this theatre can be. So, there is one main player in this trend. His name is Antonin Artaud. So, there is only one main playwright who is actually closely related to this theatre. Theatre of Cruelty is developed by Antonin Artaud and is aimed at shocking the audiences through gesture, image, sound and lighting. So, the aim of this theatre was to give a shock to the audience. So, they adopted different methods to shock the audiences. Natasha Tripney describes how Artaud's ideas took shape and traces their influence on directors and writers such as Peter Brook, Samuel Beckett and Jean Genet. So, here you find that he was actually a forerunner in this trend, and there are many others who are actually influenced by Antonin Artaud and his theatre. One of the most influential theatre theorists of the 20th century and a key figure of the European avant-garde, Antonin Artaud developed the ideas behind the theatre of cruelty. So, his impact on theatre, especially in Europe, was very far-reaching. Let us see some background about this playwright. He was born in Marseilles, France in 1896. He contracted spinal meningitis as a young child and spent long stretches in sanatoriums during his youth. So, this man was actually not in good health. He had a very severe disease that affected him. It was a kind of spinal inflammation. So, he had to spend most of his time in hospitals. While he read widely during this time, he also developed a laudanum dependency that resulted in a lifelong dependence on opiates. So, as a result of his treatment, he had to take a lot of drugs. Actually, he became a drug addict. Opiates means different products made by opium, which is a drug. In 1920, he moved to Paris intending to pursue a career as a writer, but he became interested in the avant-garde theatre scene and began training and performing with the directors including Charles Dallin and Georges Pitof. He continued to write poetry and essays during this time. So, he went to Paris in order to continue his writing, but somehow he was attracted towards avant-garde theatre. He had a great interest in cinema and wrote the scenario for an early surrealist film by director Germain Dulac, The Seashell and the Clergyman. So, he was also interested in filmmaking and he wrote the scenario. Here, scenario means actually the script, script for film, shooting script. In other words, it is called shooting script. That is a elaborate script for shooting a movie. And he was also influenced by surrealism. We will see what it is later. This film was an influence on surrealists Salvador Dali and Luis Buñuel, who made the iconic Ochoa Adole with its infamous eyeball slicing scene in 1929. So it's about a film which was really shocking, with the scene in which there is a slicing of the eyeball. Actually, the French word phrase here, it means the dog from Andalusia. Andalusia is a place in Spain. Artaud appeared in over 20 films. He played Jean-Paul Marat in Abel Gance's Napoleon, and a monk in Carl Theodor Dreyer's The Passion of Joan of Arc. So he had a stint with movies and acting and all that. Feeling shut out, he co-founded the Alfred Jarry Theatre with Roger Whittaker and Robert Aaron. So later on, he started a theatre along with his two companions. During its brief period of operation, was visited by a number of prominent artists, writers and thinkers, including Nobel winning author Andre Gide. So this theatre also was very famous, and many prominent artists and writers or thinkers, they all visited this theatre. In 1948, Artaud was diagnosed with cancer and he died shortly afterwards at the age of 51. So he died of cancer. The theatre of cruelty is both a philosophy and a discipline. So it is more of philosophy, or philosophy means the way you look at life, that is philosophy. We have different philosophies in the world. And a discipline, so kind of theory. Artaud wanted to disrupt the relationship between audience and performer. So somehow he did not like the idea of having a relationship between audience and the performer. So he wanted to cut it off. The cruelty in Artaud's thesis was sensory. It exists in the work's capacity to shock and confront the audience, to go beyond words and connect with the emotions, to wake up the nerves and the heart. So his cruelty was more of sensory. That means you need to feel that the sensation, and that cruelty has to be inside that art, inside the work, or inside that theatre or the play itself. And that play should have the ability to shock and confront the audience, so that it has to go beyond mere words. So the script did not have much of importance. That's why he stressed more of action rather than words. And he wanted to wake up the nerves and the heart of every audience. He believed gesture and movement to be more powerful than text. So he believed that actions or gesture of the actor is more important than his dialogue. Sound and lighting could also be used as tools of sensory disruption. So in order to bring out that effect of shock, he used sound and lighting and all that. The audience, he argued, should be placed at the center of a piece of performance. So the audience is actually in the center. That means the audience is surrounded by the actors. Only then they will be able to shock the audience. Theatre should be an act of organized anarchy. Anarchy means, lack of any organized rule. In Malayalam we call it Arajagattam. A new theatrical language of totem and gesture. A totem means symbol. So he was using a lot of symbols, lot of graphics, and also gesture. Gesture means, of course, actions. It was a piece of Balinese theatre that Artaud saw at the Paris Colonial Exposition in 1931 that began to shape his ideas about gesture and performance. So his ideas about gesture was definitely influenced by Balinese dance. Balinese means Bali is it's an island in Indonesia. So they have got very graceful dance, and he was greatly influenced by this dance form. He was interested in the use of facial expressions and the relative unimportance of the spoken word. So just like in Kathakali and all that, their facial expression is more important than the words. So they try to convey a lot of meanings through their gestures or expressions. Gesture, he felt, could communicate an artist's unconscious and conscious intentions in a way that words were incapable of expressing. So what words cannot express, gesture can express. That's what he meant. Though a writer himself, he believed that words could only do so much. So according to him, words had their limit. Words were not able to communicate everything that we felt or our emotions. Gesture could make these things visible on stage. So what words cannot express or communicate, gesture can do. That's why he gave a lot of importance to gesture. All true feeling is in reality untranslatable. So according to him, all true feelings cannot be expressed or communicated. To express it is to betray it. So the moment you try to express your feeling, you are betraying that feeling. That means you can never express your true deeper feelings. But to translate it is to dissimulate it. Dissimulate means to cover it, to hide it. That's why an image, an allegory, a figure that masks what it would reveal have more significance for the spirit than the lucidities of speech and its analytics. So according to him, words have limitations. So they use a lot of images, pictures, and allegory. Allegory is a symbolic story which tells you indirectly, not directly. Shortly afterwards, he published his first manifesto for a theatre of cruelty in La Nouvelle Revue Française. So it is a French magazine. So it is definitely a French word, name of a magazine. So he published his theories of theatre on cruelty in that magazine. It would later appear as a chapter in his seminal book, The Theatre and Its Double. So his philosophy or theories of theatre of cruelty was published in a book titled The Theatre and Its Double. In it, he described his intention to create a new theatrical language of totem and gesture, a language of space devoid of dialogue that would appeal to all the senses. So it is in this book he describes his intention to create a new theatrical language of totem and gesture. Totem means symbol. Usually you find among tribals and all that a kind of huge figure symbolizing their tribe. That is called totem. And gesture, of course, we know. So according to Artaud, what words cannot express, symbols and gestures can do. Images dominated Artaud's theory of theatre. He described a spectator seized by the theatre as by a whirlwind of higher forces. So ultimately his aim was to give a shock to the audience. So he has to use a lot of images or symbols along with gestures to shock the audience. So the spectator has to be seized by the theatre as a whirlwind of higher forces. So just as you would be caught in a storm, this drama or play should really sweep you away like in a storm. He believed that many of the conventions of theatre, prescriptive play text words, he felt should have the importance they have in dreams. So just like you have words in dreams, so same way text should have words just like in our dreams. So he was trying to go to a different level. That means, words we can't hear when you are in dream. So what he means is that the words should not have a lot of importance. And proscenium arches worked against what he saw as the magic of the form. So he was against use of proscenium arches. Because it worked against the magic of his theatre of cruelty or the ritual of theatre. See, a ritual means every ritual that we perform is very similar to theatre or drama. We have a ritualized theory of drama. We will see later more in detail what is ritualized theory of drama. He believed in the abolition of the auditorium and the stage to create a single playing space with no barriers between audience and performers. So he was against proscenium arches. He was also against the idea of an auditorium where you have a stage and also space for audience. During his lifetime, Artaud's theories remained primarily theories, but their influence has been considerable. So when he was alive, his theories were not actually put into practice. They remained some really theories. But those theories really affected or influenced other people later. While it can be argued that Artaud's ideas are not always coherent or consistent, it's fair to say that his theories have changed the course of contemporary theatre. So it is not very easy to understand his theories, but still it had a very deep influence on the rest of the history of theatre. His work had a profound impact on a generation of European writers, including Jean Genet and Samuel Beckett. The director Peter Brook was a major advocate for Artaud's ideas, expressed in his book The Empty Space. So there were many other writers who were influenced by him, like Jean Genet and also Samuel Beckett. His productions of King Lear and Marat or Sade were most explicitly influenced by Artaud's thinking. His ideas bled beyond the world of the stage. Not only the theatre, even his influence was even beyond theatre. Jim Morrison, lead singer of the 1960s American band The Doors, was inspired by his writings on ritual and spectacle in performance. Even musicians were influenced by him, like Jim Morrison, an American band The Doors. John Cage, Merce Cunningham and the Living Theatre have all acknowledged a debt to Artaud. So all these people were influenced by the theatre of cruelty. Susan Sontag famously wrote that his impact was so great that the course of all recent theatre in Western Europe and the Americas can be said to divide into two periods, before Artaud and after Artaud. So this shows the importance of this man. According to this critic, Susan Sontag, we can divide European or American theatre into two, that is before Artaud and after Artaud. Now we are going to see the historical context of how this theatre of cruelty was developed, or what was the influence behind it. So we have a term called surrealism. Now what is the meaning of the term surrealism? In Malayalam we say പ്രതീകങ്ങളിലൂടെ ഉപബോധ മനസ്സിൻ്റെ വ്യാപാരങ്ങളെ അവതരിപ്പിക്കുന്ന സമ്പ്രദായം. I'll repeat. പ്രതീകങ്ങളിലൂടെ ഉപബോധ മനസ്സിൻ്റെ വ്യാപാരങ്ങളെ അവതരിപ്പിക്കുന്ന സമ്പ്രദായം. So it is trying to express what is inside the unconscious through symbols or symbolic representation of what is happening inside the mind. So that is actually surrealism. So surrealism was not only in theatre, it was also in art. You can have a look at art through Google. You can easily get some pictures of surrealist paintings. Surrealist playwrights moved beyond reality and looked to dreams instead of logic for inspiration to create a true reality. So they gave more importance to dreams. Sigmund Freud was a psychologist who studied the conscious, unconscious and subconscious and all that. So surrealism was really influenced by this psychologist Sigmund Freud. They wanted to be able to explain everyday reality in a way that the mind hadn't imagined before. So they wanted to look at reality from a very different angle. While Apollinaire is also known as the founder of Surrealist theatre, it was Andre Breton's The Surrealist Manifesto that sought to unify the reality of the mind and reality that surrounds us. So we have also Surrealist theatre, but actually it is not in our syllabus. And it was Apollinaire who is known as the founder of this theatre, but it was Andre Breton who really tried to organize this idea in his book titled The Surrealist Manifesto. Antonin Artaud, who briefly followed Surrealism, took Breton's suggestions and combined them with the dramatic movements of Balinese dance, and the theatre of cruelty was born. So here you can see very clearly what are the influences of Antonin Artaud in creating this cruelty of theatre of cruelty. So he was influenced by Surrealism, definitely by Breton, and also the Balinese theatre, Balinese dance form, not theatre, sorry. So he combined both these two, and then we have the result, that is theatre of cruelty. The theatre of cruelty, defined in the late 1930s, took the surrealist approach to create its own violent and ritualized theory of drama. So what is ritualized theory of drama? We are coming to that. It's a theatre. It tells that theatre and ritual both employ similar means. So what are the similarities between theatre and ritual? If you look at theatre and rituals closely, you find we have got similar means. They employ similar means like music, dance, spectacle, mask, costumes, speech, performers, audience, stage, makeup, etc. So all these are found both in rituals and also in drama. So that is the meaning of ritualized theory of drama. When we studied the origin, we we know that in Greek, at least Greek drama, we find it originated as part of religious rituals. So that influence is still seen in the theatre, the ritual form. Artaud first proposed his idea in his book The Theatre and Its Double. So we have already seen that. He believed that man was savage under the skin. Savage means an animal. So behind or beneath the skin, every man is a brute, or every person is a kind of animal. But also that people could be pushed to overcome savage impulses if they were confronted with the violence behind their desires. So this is the essence of this theatre. So according to him, man is hiding a brute inside, and that brutish nature will come out once in a while. That's why we find a lot of crimes committed in the society. That's because of the brute that is inside, the savage impulse trying to come out through these criminal activities. So each person should be confronted with their savage impulses. Only then we will be able to realize that. His goal was to make the audience more aware of this instinctual feelings through psychological shock. So what Artaud is trying to do is only trying to bring out the brute that is inside every person. That's what he is trying to bring out. His attempt is to bring out the instinct of an animal. That is, every animal has got instinct. We all work with our instinct. Without that, we cannot survive. But we should go beyond this instinct. We should refine our instinct. That's what he is trying to tell. Only when you are shocked by your own brutal nature, you will come to realize this. There is a brute inside me. The audiences were quite shocked when they attended Artaud's plays. People were often sick. So actually, his intention was to shock the people by showing such shocking imageries on the stage. So naturally, people became sick. Artaud died in 1948 after nearly a decade in psychiatric hospitals, but his ideas continued to influence playwrights well into the 1960s. So you have a person who tried to shock the whole world through the cruelty or theatre of cruelty, but then sadly his life itself was a tragedy. He was not only physically sick, he was also mentally sick. So in a way, his life is a real tragedy. Characteristics of the theatre of cruelty. Artaud's use of the word cruelty did not intend to mean brutal or mean. So it is not actually meaning the brutal or mean cruelty. Instead, he meant that it was up to the actors to show the audience things they didn't want to see. So it is up to the actors to express that cruelty through the actions. In this fashion, the actors had to be brutally honest and cruel with and to themselves. So the actors should inflict that cruelty on themselves. Only then the people will be able to be shocked. So the actor has to be cruel to himself, first of all. To make this happen, the actors needed to employ methods that were quite different than those of traditional theatre. So in order to bring out this cruelty, they had to use very different methods, different from the traditional theatre. Even so, Artaud did not demand a system of exercises or instructions to follow. So he did not instruct the people to follow certain exercises and all that. but we can draw some conclusions based on his ideas and his work. So let us conclude from his philosophy certain ideas. First one is that the text was not as important as the action on stage. Yes. So the words were not as important as action. Artaud's theatre wanted to transfer a sense of pain, suffering and evil using gestures, sounds and symbols instead of words. So this sense of pain or suffering or evil, all this should be transferred or conveyed through gestures, sounds and also symbols, not so much of words. The screams, cries and other noises that were the focus of the theatre of cruelty meant to jar the mind and make people face their fears. So the characters will scream, cry and make all kind of noises, but it is only to shock the mind. Jar here means to shock the mind and make people face their own fears. Much like the balletist dance, the gestures the actors used were symbolic instead of natural. So just like in the balletist dance, the gestures were more of symbolic. In fact, because the theatre of cruelty dealt with dark universal concepts like madness and perversion, there are often graphic portrayals of such things on stage. So he was dealing with dark universal ideas like madness, perversion. Perversion means actually a kind of abnormal or unnatural behavior. In Malayalam we say Vaikrutham or Prakriti. So he had to visualize or portray all that graphically so that people will be shocked. To ensure that the audience was completely immersed in the action, he wanted them to sit in swivel chairs in the middle of the performance, so the performance would take place all around them. So this was the idea of his theatre. That means the audience will be in the center and they will be surrounded by the action, and the audience can be seated on swivel chairs so that they can move around and see the action that is happening around them. Only then they can be really involved in the action. Immersed means involved completely, because the action is taking place all around them. Sadly, the French mastermind known as Antonin Artaud was not always a lucid one. That means lucid means clear. So this genius was not very clear all the time. That means he was not mentally fit. So the man who coined the term theatre of cruelty spent a significant portion of his later life in asylums and went on the outside addicted to opium. So his life was really a tragedy. Most of the time he spent in the hospitals for his physical as well as mental sickness, and once he was outside the hospital, he was addicted to opium. Much of Artaud's writings on the theatre are difficult to comprehend, and his manifestos in the theatre and its double are not exactly bedtime reading. So it is not very easy to understand his theories and all that. It's very, very tough. You can't read it like a bedtime stories. Artaud often has less appeal to teachers and students of theatre than other theorists and practitioners because his techniques are not readily translatable. So he was dealing with mostly psychological aspects or of the unconscious. So it is very difficult to comprehend his theories and all that. One has to work hard to decipher how Artaud's concepts for his theatre of cruelty become concrete conventions for the stage. So we cannot easily implement all his theories, especially on the stage. It is very difficult. To decipher means to translate or to understand. put it into practice. But this does not mean we should dismiss Artaud or his influence on 20th century theatre. Just because it is very difficult to understand his methods or theories, we cannot dismiss him, because he had a real influence on the theatre of 20th century. Theatre of Cruelty aimed to shock the senses of its audience, sometimes using violent and confronting images that appeal to the emotions. So, in order to shock the audience, he had to use some violent or even confronting images. Text was given a reduced emphasis in Artaud theatre. Text means here a script or dialogue. So, the importance was given more to actions or gestures than script or dialogue. Along with gesture, he also had dance. Piercing sound and bright stage lights bombarded the audience during performances. So, piercing means very sharp sound, and also bright lights on the stage. Bombarded means almost like attacking the audience, just like putting a bomb. So, his idea was mainly to shock the audience. So, he used different techniques like sound, light, and all that. You have a pics, some few pics about the theatre, some of the scenes of Theatre of Cruelty. I hope you are not shocked. So, with that we come to the end of Theatre of Cruelty. So, we come up with another theatre in the next class. Till then, it is goodbye. Thank you.